ahead.
This guy. That's how we started to start the live stream. That's all right.
I didn't know you was live.
I was like, well, there you go. Anyway, it's all good. Hey, what's going on, everybody? You're live with Desmond, myself, and my brother in Christ here, Trey. And yeah, we're doing this live stream on the Kickstarter for the Burrow and the Blade. And yeah, I'm actually very, very happy. I mean, it started at 9 o'clock, and it is 12:33 right now. So let's show you guys where it is. There we go. So as of now, oh wait, why are you like? Oh, let's put you right here. Let's do it.
We're at $314.
Yep, 314 out of 1,000. So far
We're
on the
almost
first
there.
day, yeah, but like a little bit more than 1/3 of the way there.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're doing pretty good here. Again, this is my first time doing this, so I don't really have extreme high expectations or anything like that. But I really do want to thank those who have been supporting, those who have bought in. Just kind of give you guys a look real quick before we get into the rest of the live stream. Show you guys a little bit of the rewards here. So you have the $5 reward, which gets you the ebook copy of the Burrow and the Blade and the special digital thank you card. You also get for the $15 pledge, you get the ebook copy, a high resolution digital wallpaper, digital copy of the map and character art, and also a section in a book where it goes to where's a dedication to the special backers, or to the digital backers, sorry. And then apparently people like this one more, the $30 value. You get a signed physical paperback copy of the Burrow and the Blade, your name printed in the thank you credits, and also the ebook copy and all the other digital stuff as well. All that will be added into that. For the $40 value, this one here, you'll actually get, well, actually, I can show you what you'll get. For the $40 value, you get the signed physical copy of the Burrow and the Blade, an exclusive art print of the Fivefold Fang, your name, digital, and everything else I just mentioned. You get all of that. And if you guys look right behind me, hold on one second here. Let me take this down for a moment. And then I'm going to maximize my screen for a moment. And so you guys see that's pretty much what you'll get for the $40 value. You get that, which is done by my friend Psych Originals. His actual name is Azaria King. Very good artist. So you'll get that for your but an 8x10. You'll get a copy of that sent to you along with a physical copy of the Burrow and Blade, which will be signed by myself. And let me see. Now, another thing I was kind of surprised about, right? We got somebody at the $90 value, which is the ultimate set. So you get the signed physical paperback copy. You pretty much get everything that was mentioned. The exclusive art print, the high quality poster of the map, which is done by Adriano's Burzo. Sorry if I screwed that last name up. But he's an artist from Brazil. Very good guy. He's going to do our map for Trey's book as well. So still going to be working on that. And of course, again, you get everything that was mentioned before, all in one nice package. So yeah, again, want to thank you guys for supporting. And we're going to continue moving on. This is just day one out of the month, so we'll just see how we continue to go. Of course, I'm going to ask you guys, please share, like, and subscribe. Share the Kickstarter, because this thing is only going to make it because of you guys. But other than that, yeah, Trey, go ahead and talk a little bit about yourself. For those who aren't aware, Trey is also part of the Sagas of Vaelora team. We're both going to be managing a company called, or not company, but like a publishing company.
Publishing imprint.
Right. Beacon Realm Publishing. And so kind of like tell them who you are, TD, for those who are new to you.
Well, I am now holder of a master's of fine arts and writing. Pretty much been writing for about, say, now 16 years professionally. I've written manga. I've edited a lot. I've worked behind the scenes on a lot of indie films, and me myself, everyone would know me for this book, Exogenesis. I helped write it. I've scripted the entire first volume, and I've been here and there in some anthologies. So uh, co- um, we bounce back and forth between calling it Koran or Lord of Wolves. Lord of Wolves would be my first published book that I'm proud of. Put it like that.
Yeah. Yeah. So really quick, the main character's name is Koran, but the book itself is called Lord of Wolves, and it's set in the same fantasy world. So you'll still get all the same, or at least mentions of the characters that's in the Burrow and the Blade, and of course you get exposed to a whole new continent, a whole new uh, wildlife system, everything. So pretty much what's going on with the Sagas of Vaelora, we work from top to bottom, bottom to top when it comes to creating everything. So you got wildlife, you got the flora, you got the continents, you got the whole world of lore, you got the creation story, all these things, and it's still being developed over over time because obviously not there's so much in this world. So like right now we have about 7 continents, and of course the way Vaelora is actually set up, it's like a flat Earth type model, except it's divided into like two or three worlds. So you have like the inner world, which is protected by the essence wall, and then outside of that, you have like this weird realm where you have all these other beings. I'm not going to expose too much what that is. And then beyond that, you have the veil, which protects everything from abyssal entities from outside. So,
Oh,
um,
Darian's in the chat.
yep, I just saw him. Yep, what's going on, Darren, man?
Darian
Yeah,
need to have his butt healed.
yeah. Darren, you ought to come on in, man. If you ain't busy, come on in, and let you guys know. So we have 2 other people. So you guys already heard about Emma. Emma, she has done a fantastic job. As a matter of fact, she narrated the prologue for the Burn the Blade already,
She blew it
and
out the park.
she really did. Yeah, I mean, she got the accents down. I mean, the inflections, like, got the emotional parts perfect. Emma has done a fantastic job, and she definitely deserves something for her work. So, if you guys want to go ahead and donate a little something, I want to go ahead and give that to her too. Even though she says she's doing it for free, she definitely deserves something for her work. So, I'm definitely gonna give her her due there. And of course, Darren, he's actually working on something as well. You guys can probably check that out in the last live stream. It's called No Rest, and so it's set in like a post-rapture situation. And yeah, check out that other live stream because he goes more into depth about what his story is all about. He's still currently working through it, so please go ahead and take a look at his stuff. And throughout this live stream, guys, we'll definitely be looking at some of the other guys' stuff that I've been promoting. So there's a guy who's supporting our Kickstarter. He's also got a Kickstarter, so I want to show that as well. I also want to show this anthology that Trey's been working on because I just saw that on your Facebook page that you're working on a little sci-fi. So I want to go ahead and promote that. But I think you guys are like $20 off from where your goal is, so you don't need $20 more, right?
Um, Wait, which Kickstarter? What? You know what? I wait.
That
Oh,
was
for Legend Fiction, yeah.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
because I'm about to say you said sci-fi anthology, then I thought about another one I'm doing with other black authors where it's like set in a galaxy with a dying sun. So I thought about that. There, you said Kickstarter. I said, oh, runners. So yeah, thrill runners. That's like basically saying it's in a world that's like you're finding these out of place artifacts, and so my approach to it was saying like, you know what, I'm gonna make a free runner doing all this because I love parkour and I love free running. So basically, the Kickstarter for that is for a group called Legend Fiction, where there are a bunch of Christian, Orthodox, and Catholic authors who love fantasy.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
So
Uh, so we're definitely going to show that off so people can actually take a look at it. Because, like like I tell people all the time, like when it comes to this sort of project, I'm not all about what I'm doing, but also want to share what other authors and friends of mine are doing, so that way you guys can get exposed to that. And also, welcome, Miles. I see you in the chat, and also I see other people coming in. Thanks for coming on through. Again, just want to thank you guys for supporting the project. Already over 31% done, and that's on day one. So we'll just see how things go on for the rest of the 29 days that this Kickstarter goes. But yeah, really quick. For those who are unaware, we also have a website, www. Actually, I can just show you guys really quick. Hold on.
Mm-hmm.
Let me go ahead and take this off. www.thesagasofwarrior.com. I'm still working on it, so it's not completely done. But we'll have our newsletter there. If you guys want to sign up there, don't expect a newsletter right away, but nonetheless, it will be up pretty soon. So I'll show you guys what the website looks like. So this is the website right here. Made this through Wix, so you guys can kind of see. And I'm also showing the two books, first The Burrow and the Blade, and also The Lord of Wolves. So that way you guys can get an idea of what is going on. Of course, we got the video here. You guys all have seen it before. I'll probably play it a little bit later. You have the two here. So this is an older cover. We're going to make another cover. The only reason I'm using these two because people like them, so I don't want to change it whatsoever. But obviously, we use both human art and also AI art in order to make our stuff here, as far as depicting the world and all that. And I really appreciate those who have been receptive to all that. I mean, I know there's a whole fiasco with that, but again, I believe in transparency and just showing how things are done, so that way you guys know what you guys are exactly buying. So I'm going to take this off right here. But yeah, this project here is let me see. This has been in the works since I was about 4 years old. 4, maybe a little bit earlier than that. Depends on how what my mom will say. I probably say like 4 years old. And just come together and actually making this into a story, and through that story, making friends. Like, for example, I met Trey through a Facebook group. It's been like a brother from another mother for like, for real. I met Darian, I met Emma, I met another artist. He don't like giving out his actual name. So Lord Hina from Discord, and also a brand new artist I met through a World of Warcraft group, and he's been making different art forms. I'll actually show you guys if you haven't seen it yet. These guys have been doing fantastic work when it comes to depicting the world here. So let me show you guys. I see comments here. I'll get to that in a moment, unless Trey gets to them first. But let me see here. I'm going to show you guys the art that's been done so far. So we have about 3 or 4 different artists. Okay, that was you, Trey. Not bad.
Mm-hmm. That was me.
I was like, who's that with a comment? Sorting right now, so I'll show you guys in a moment. Okay, here's Merris Brightpaw right here. This is done by the World of Warcraft artist Hyun. I can't say his name for real. I'm sorry. I apologize about
Hyun
that.
Thun.
How you say it?
Hyun Thun, because it's Vietnamese.
Yep. Thank you. Yeah, your pronunciation is way better. I'll leave that to you then. I definitely appreciate that. But he's done really great work. I'll also include the pictures here into what you guys get as well. Probably just like, a little add-on or whatever, nothing major. This is done by Lord Hina. Now, this character right here is a representation of the Lethari. The Lethari is my replacement for elves, right? Because I didn't want to create a fantasy world that's just like copy and paste. I wanted to make something that was pretty unique. So I was like, how do I create an elder race that is unique to my world, has not, hasn't really been seen, but also incorporates things that we're familiar with. So, the Lethari, we actually get into that maybe on our live stream, but this is a pretty cool character that represents one of the elder races. They live like in an almost different dimension called the Spirit Wilds. And at some point in history, they actually left this dimension to live in their own habitat. This here is Koran.
I was just about to show it too. I was waiting for you to stop talking, but yeah, that's Koran.
And so, really quick, he lives in the continent of Jamora, which is uh, southeast of Caledoria, which is where my story takes place. And so, over time, you'll see how all these characters come together. Now, just to be clear, like within Vaelora, there's humans, there's animal folk, there's all sorts of different creatures. So it's not purely just anthropomorphic, but it also has other races as well. Did you want to add anything to that?
Well,
To
he's
your
holding a sword called the Moonfang Reaper, and that's basically a holy weapon. And the wolf, that's basically a representation of his patron saint Lunara, the silver wolf, or the one who chases the moon.
Now,
Basically, if you've seen the end of Mortal Kombat 11 and what happens to Liu Kang, something similar is going to happen.
Now, really quick, because just kind of like inform people who are watching, the inspiration for Korra and, of course, the whole continent was Africa. So we have a lot of African mythology, which is adapted to this world. So it's different, but you'll also be familiar with it if you're familiar with African mythos. So, patron saint. When you said patron saint, what we're really talking about is the Orisha. If you guys are familiar with Igbo or Yoruba spirituality, they have these spirit beings where they're called the Orisha. We actually
Hmm.
renamed that to the Nikirai. And they act in a similar role and function, and you'll see how they're connected to the wider mythos once we release that book. That Kickstarter will happen after we get the beta readers out for the Koran finished. And one last art form, really quick. This was, oh, wait, that's the wrong one. Hold on, hold on, hold on. Here we go. Here we go. That one there, I was trying to adapt his work. But hold on, really quick. Let me pull that up. Hold on. Still processing. There we go. That's his work. So this is done by my brother in Christ, Azaria King. Very fantastic artist. If you guys haven't seen him, look up Psych Originals, SIAK Originals. Very, very great artist. So in this one, he uses charcoal and pencil work and that sort of thing to go ahead and create these various characters. You have Timothy the bear. I'm not going to use the actual race names. We're going to use the names that you guys are familiar with. So you got Timothy the bear. You have my little brother who is named Kale. I actually added him into the book. And so he's like the paladin character, which is adapted from his World of Warcraft character. So I had to go ahead and put that in there and give him some honor. You have Baybex Merrifer here in the front, which is the main protagonist here, who is the rabbit here, the merchant who came from Fleetfoot Hollow. You also have Lily, which is based off my cat, to be honest. And so, really quick, if you guys haven't seen the other live streams, whatnot, um, Lily, the reason why she even has hair is because a kid told me the black spot on her head looked like a hairstyle, so she started calling her hairstyle Kitty Cat. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna adapt that into the character itself, and so I gave her hair. And of course, self insert, got to put myself in there. I got myself as the ranger back there, Desiree, and this is what I do for a lot of people. So even like my beta readers, they have characters like minor roles within the story itself. Trey as well. He also has a character. We still had to put that into the Koran book because you'll definitely see him in there. Um, and of course, like I said, you have other people who are working with us, adding them into the book because really what this is really just again just having fun, adding people into it, getting ideas. There's been people who've given ideas for races. So I've been constantly building based on suggestions that people give me, and this world has become not just my own, but everybody who's taking part. So that has been a lot of fun, a ton of fun.
Yeah, it has been a lot of fun, especially me slowly learning about everything and then how to adjust Koran's story to match the world. And I'm going like, does this fit? Okay, no, this probably won't fit. And then the whole thing, I'm trying to keep Koran's power in check so that he doesn't just come and start one-shotting people. If anything, the main stories with Burrow and the Blade are like the main D&D campaign, and Koran's book is like his backstory before he joins the campaign.
Right. Right. I mean, and that's the thing too. I know we talked about this in our live stream, but I know people may be new to it, whatever. So I just want to mention this. The um, the powers within Vaelora are is going to be very surprising to a lot of people, especially when you're thinking about anthropomorphic characters, and you're thinking about, oh, this must be like a little cute story. No, it's not. It's not a simple cute story. This thing here, again, you're diving into a world of gods, of demonic entities or eldritch entities, I'd rather say. Um, it's going to be a little bit mix of like dark fantasy, a little bit of, you got Redwall up in there. You have Lord of the Rings up in there a little bit. It's pretty much, if I was going to say like a love story to all my favorite stuff I grew up with. And
I mean, I was asked in another Discord server when I was talking about this because they still want to feature the Kickstarter in their live stream. Someone asked me, how is it possible to write an African Lord of the Rings? And I said, the African part, that's just the aesthetic we've chosen. We could have easily just gone full European medieval times, but last time we've seen something with fantasy and African is there's this one indie comic where the creator is basically using Orisha for his backstory and
mhm.
Black Panther.
Wait, Orisha and Black Panther?
No, that's the other thing I've seen using fantasy
Oh,
and African aesthetic.
oh, okay, yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, because like you just mentioned there. I mean, that hasn't really been brought up, so it adds a different dynamic to the whole story. And I think it'd be pretty fun to get into something that a lot of people may not even be familiar with. And again, it's like really paying homage to a lot of these different legends and mythos out there. And even myself, I'm learning more about the African mythos because I'm trying to, put that within the framework of the story. Of course, we have the European side, you got the African inspired stuff. You also have other cultures that are inspired, which have not been yet revealed. Um, when it comes to the anthropomorphic folk, the like Bayback's Marifer and Merris and all that, the animals, the way I'm constructing the races is going to be a reflection of how they live in real life, but it's going to be upscaled to a point where you see, of course, the intelligence and that sort of thing. So, like for example, Baybacks, they live underground just like actual rabbits do. The quiver, obviously, I'm not going to have them store stuff in their cheeks, but you see aspects of that as well. Yeah, you see their inclination to store things. The mouse folk, being skittish and also sneaky and all these sort of things. So
No, I'm just saying when you mention them stuff in their cheeks, I'm going like, Lord, if I'd put in a character called the Mighty Hamstonator, evil stretchy cheek foe, and then like every time you turn around, he has something in his mouth, and then just go, Baybacks go like, Hamsty, what do you got in your cheeks now? Wow, fully got something in his mouth that's glowing. Nothing.
and we poke fun at that too, though. It's like even like in my story, like there's a character. His name is Tib One, and a few of my beta readers are saying how they want him to come back. So I'll definitely bring him back. It's not going to be in this story. I was trying to figure out a way how to do it, but I couldn't figure it out. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to just leave that alone and bring him back into book two. But he is a hamster folk, and you see little times when they make fun of him and his cheeks because he eats so much, and you see his cheeks blow up. So little points like that, to keep the story, grounded to what his nature is, but also you see moments of like heroism and near death experiences, and bloody, bloody trials that these characters go through. So on one hand, it's like how do you tell a story that has all these elements into one and makes sense? Somehow we figured it out. We figured this mess out, and it just worked out really well. And you know what? Let me show you guys something else as well. I'm gonna upload. It's gonna take a while for me to upload it, but this has definitely been a lot of fun. Again, I just want to thank you guys for supporting. Um, let me see if I can find this really quick. If I can't find it, I'll just have to pull it up on. Wait, no. Hang on, guys. Hang on. I'm looking for it right now. I need to get better as far as like organizing my files because like I have so much stuff here. Like, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and just pull it up from Facebook because this here is a little. Hang on one moment, y'all. So really quick as well, while we're doing that, Trey, how soon do you see um, Koron coming out? After Burrow the Blade is out.
Hopefully either next month or shortly right after.
So like I'd say, so like latest is probably like November.
Yeah.
November. And so, okay, guys, my Facebook is not acting up, so I can't even show you guys what I wanted to show you. I should have had this up. I didn't think I was really going to show this, but it makes sense to go ahead and do that. If you guys haven't done it already, please follow us on Facebook. We're also on YouTube, obviously. I'm starting to get on TikTok. I know there's like a market there for that, and I just haven't like really touched TikTok like that. But eventually, I am gonna go ahead and here we go. I got it up now, guys. So if you guys haven't seen it yet, I'm gonna see if I can.
Testimonials.
All right, so you guys can kind of see that. And so all these are coming from our beta readers. So that way you guys know that this story has been tested and tried by actual readers, people who have edited stories and that sort of thing. And again, I want to thank these guys a lot because without them, I probably would have had no idea of how to put all this cohesively together because doing an epic fantasy is a ton of work. And it probably would have taken me a
That
lot
it
longer.
is.
It would have taken me a lot longer than I've been able to produce it because these guys here has been extremely helpful. And there's Ashley, there's Victoria, Mary, Bree. There's others as well that you guys actually see the book. It's going to be in my acknowledgments. But I'm just going to read this really quick. Bree said, I truly love reading this book so much. I can't wait to read it again once the story is finalized. I think the story as a whole is so well fleshed out, and the ending definitely leaves the reader wanting more. Anxiously waiting for the next book in the saga to see what happens next. I really like the fact that there is so much to be explored and resolved in the future. You've done an excellent job in fleshing out the world, lore, and individual characters so well. And really quick, I also want to give a shout out to Christopher Downs. He actually helped me out a lot when it came to the background characters. He pointed this out that the background characters initially weren't as fleshed out as they should have been. So this was like months ago, and I just went back in and just started focusing on these characters. Like, how do I make this person seem real? So I started working on that, and it came out really well. So to Christopher Downs, I appreciate you because without you, it probably would never been as good as it is right now. So definitely appreciate that. To Victoria, she says, I have to say, I love the part about the ring you added instead of the blade. Again, this you'll see what I'm talking about. It says the way it fits in Bayback's perfectly makes me feel that it was actually meant for him. And I like the part. I like how it was with this part. Bayback stared at the ring, a mixture of honor and confusion flooding through him. This was meant for Stomper, his brilliant older brother, who had always been destined for great things. Father, this was his. Shouldn't we wait when he returns? I see Bayback as a young, unexperienced, and also real in his doubts if he will ever live up to his brother. But then again, he accepts the responsibility it carries and steps up, ready to take over where his brother had left. And so again, these are people who deep dived into the story. They gave me a ton. If you guys like to look at the Google document, I have tons of comments as far as like what to fix, what sounds great, what didn't, what should I take out, and that sort of thing. And the patience that they expressed towards the story has been phenomenal. So I definitely appreciate that. Ashley, she said, I finished reading the story. Sorry it took me longer than I thought it would. I really love the story and its characters. Can't wait for more. You have taken inspiration from Redwall and completely made it your own. And so that was really the point. In being inspired by Redwall, but I didn't want to do a copy and paste. It's really
Yeah.
supposed to be like a honoring to Brian Jackson, his work. And all I did pretty much was just take inspirations, take my imagination, take what other people have said, and just put that all together. And thankfully, it worked out pretty well. Mary, she said, I think the Phantom chapter was my favorite. I was so engrossed in it. It was so well paced, action packed, and filled with emotion. So you guys will definitely get into a lot of that. It has been a very, very fun time writing this. And of course, I want Trey to actually talk about his part in writing Koran because, again, this is like the next part of the story that takes place, in a separate continent. So that way, you guys can get a way in. If you guys didn't read Bird of Blade, you might want to read Koran and take a more African look at the story. I think that's gonna be pretty cool as well. They're not like okay, book one and book two where you have to read in order. No, you can read either or, and
Yeah.
you'll still come to the same conclusion. But go ahead, Trey. Go ahead and talk about Koran and a little bit more about it so people can get ready for it.
Well, Koron came from me being dissatisfied with like my first experience with D&D, namely the role play. Like I built Koron to be, a barbarian, but still to have honor about him. And unfortunately, I was like in a group with a bunch of crash outs. And so even though the barbarian is always supposed to be the crash out, Koron was always like trying to do right because the one time he crashes out in the story, he lost everything. He made like a judgment call, clearly seeing evil in front of him, and destroyed basically an artifact that his people valued. And it's like because of that, his wife got whisked, basically got taken by the villain, and everybody's like speculating, well, maybe Koron did this to like incite war or take power for himself, and that's how he became the exile. He was exiled, and then he literally goes and is at his lowest point and goes even lower, gets jumped by these people who worships a blood god and has his tendons cut. But then Lunara, who he prays to, is basically healing his body bit by bit. So by the time he gets back to where they're taking him, he's ready to fight. Because they was full intent on throwing him into a fighting pit, even with his tendons cut.
Now, I'm gonna say this too: be very careful with spoilers. You don't want
That's
to tell
just
me.
that's literally like 1% of the story.
Right, right.
That it don't go like y'all don't have context of how he got there or who took him. So
Oh, you know what? And also mention this too, though, because our prologues are very different as far as like how we approach the world. And so, like, whereas in Burn and Blade, it focuses on pretty much how the United Burrowlands, where Baybacks come from, how that all got started. Um, Trey's story actually starts with an adaptation of the creation story. When I say the creation story, I'm talking about like so you have like the actual story of how the Vaelora got created, but then you have cultural depictions of how creation got started. And so you actually, and like I said, every single culture, every single race has its own history, its own mythos, its own legends, its own heroes. And this is no different than for Koran, who lives again in the southern continent. So you kind of share that as well, and how that all interplays into in the wider world.
well, the prologue, how can I say that won't be spoilery?
You can
I,
spoil the prologue. Yeah, I mean we're gonna show what that is anyway.
um, really try to figure it out like talk about it without just, how can I say, like really get y'all to understand what we were going for with that prologue. I literally have to type notes to myself to focus my mind.
Yeah, next time when we do this, I'm gonna send you a list of things we're gonna talk about.
Well, you trying to make me seem so scatterbrained, man. um, put it like this: the creation story, basically how the primordial era. Oh Lord, how do we pronounce this word?
um,
Ure.
so yeah, and yeah, you're in their lands. They call him Urwe. The actual name of the Almighty God in Valoria is called Aloran, but in the Jamora they call him Urwe. But go ahead.
But basically, it's talking about how Ure or Almighty God formed everything, making Oh my lord! See, this is like reading that one book in the Bible with all the multiple multi-syllabic names. If you know, you know. Um, so basically showing how the world was made to basically be pristine, but there's always like a canker there infesting it to make everything wrong. And that's Thalazur, the main Koron's main op. And basically I'd say the blood oh Lord, I almost spoiled it. Ooh, almost spoiled it. Almost spoiled it. But basically, our Orisha, because for the life of me, I don't know which pronunciation we're settling on. Um,
You're talking about the Nicarai?
thank you, the Nicarai.
Yeah, there we go. I listened to it a few times, and my pronunciation thing just said, okay, how do I say the thing that that we created here? And so it constantly says Nicarai. So yeah, that's how we say it. We're gonna stick
So
with that.
the Nicarai waged war to basically put Thalazul back in the depths. And Lunara, you know, the patron saint of Jamara, and Koron's patron saint is one of them. And then we fast forward to Koron's birth, where literally heaven and hell is trying to get him. Like before he took his first breath, heaven and hell were tugging on his soul.
And so to clarify too, when we're talking about heaven and earth, what are we talking about there?
Well, basically, all the Nicarai and Thalazul were basically just one trying to save him from the depths, one trying to drag him back down into the depths. And
Mm,
all this happened during a blood eclipse. So Koron's birth was literally prophesized.
yeah, yeah. So you guys see that. So I'm not going to tell you guys the actual creation story, but again, you see, like, okay, so the Savarathan people, they have their own mythos of how things came to be. And so the actual story itself would be revealed by one of the elder races, which I actually showed you what one would look like. Over time, that would also, yeah, actually, Karma finds out as well about the truth about the Nicarai and where they come from and all these sort of things. You guys will definitely see what's going on there. So this has been a process trying to put all this stuff together, y'all. A process. I even had to look back at because my memory is good. I have to say my memory is pretty doggone good. But there is so much in this.
Hmm.
Just creating and creating and creating.
The
You tend to
prologue
forget.
has been so long ago,
Oh
and I
yeah.
had to go like, "Oh Lord, how, what do I remember from it?" Because I know the gist of what happened, but then when you said the creation story, I said, "Oh crap, I did write the creation story in that." Crap.
Yeah.
Because
See, my memory is good, y'all.
my mental cache was kind of refreshed. That's why. I
Oh
mean,
no, you're good. I mean, and it's so like on my side of things with Merris, because she's became such a more of a popular character. I guess it's because she has white hair, white fur, blue eyes, all these sort of things. She has been the coolest thing I got out there to most people. So it's like I have to constantly go over that prologue over and over with people. So we got over. Well, Koran is more of a main focus of your book, though. So I don't think we'll focus on the prologue as much as we did on my book.
yeah, it's more
Mhm.
like um context as to where we are in the story and why is it relevant.
Right. And so let me check here really quick. If you guys have not supported the Kickstarter just yet, I'm going to show this really quick to you guys. Go ahead and sign up. If you haven't signed up, find something. We have different value packages starting at even $5. So you guys don't have to spend nothing crazy in order to get in. $5 to get you the ebook copy. Anything more than that, I definitely do appreciate you guys for anything you guys provide to us. Again, as far as like the future, um, again, we're talking about doing the publishing company, the Beacon Realm Publishing, and this will also have, of course, Sagas of Vaelora, but also a lot of trades titles as well that he's been working on. You want to talk a little about a couple of your main titles that you're working on?
Well, only one that I want to talk about, Echoes of Elisara, which is my approach to romanticy, but from a Christian perspective. because if I can be frank, romanticy nowadays is just people's excuse to write smut. And Desmond does not like romanticy because he thinks
I
that's
know,
all.
I know.
So
I'm all good with romance stories, but romanticy, I can't.
it's like they're using they're portmanteauing romance and fantasy. It's like a romance story disguised as an epic fantasy story. So I'm going like, okay, so why not have the romance as the plot and the fantasy accentuates it? Why not do that? But no, they just want to like fast forward to the next cheek clapping scene.
And let me mention this too, guys, because I have gotten questions like this before, and I want to be very clear. As far as like, will there be romance in Sagas of Valoria? Sure, we got romance within the Koran story. That's fine, but will there be scenes that are just
Spicy.
spicy? Yeah, there we go. No spice whatsoever. I want to keep this
We're
as
good
funny as
boys over
possible.
here.
Right. I'm gonna keep this to the point where adults will enjoy it, but also kids can also enjoy it as well. Right. This is going to reach that PG-13 type of content. So, I would say on a violence end, we do try to, and on violence and also the horror end, we do push the lines a little bit on that. But as far as like the spicier scenes, we don't.
Koran is a bit more mature because I had set out to write dark fantasy. So it's like the level of dark fantasy is like Conan, not Berserk, because I don't want anyone traumatized.
Right. Yeah. Thank you for that. Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. Right. So like, as a matter of fact, there was a kid, actually a couple kids who have read through the Burrow and the Blade, and so it's safe for kids to read it. Koran, I would say you might want to be at least a teenager to go ahead and read it.
Yeah.
So yeah. If you're okay with if you're okay with your kid watching, Conan the Barbarian, then you'll be good with Koran. But
If your kid has watched the '98 anime version of Berserk, then yeah, he'll be all right.
right. So we'll definitely have like those how you said those ratings on there so that way you guys know. But again, just keeping it between those lines so that way it's engaging. It causes fear when it's necessary. You guys are on the edge of your seat when you get to those action scenes and wonder if your favorite character is going to die and all these sort of things. All that's there. The romance scenes are definitely there. You'll see, like for example, between Colran and his wife Lashima, that they're really close. They're really loving towards one another. You see that dynamic. But again, we're very careful when it comes to pushing lines because we want to make it a story that's like, like how Lord of the Rings was to us. You get to the scenes where you got, them fighting at Helm's Deep and that sort of thing. But also
Yeah.
get the scenes with Aragorn and Arwen, right? It was really clean, but you also see the passion between those two without, it actually had to be seen. One of the memes that I've seen on Facebook or Instagram, it usually says, Lord of the Rings was 18-time Oscar winner, and not one cuss scene, not one sex scene, but yet it outdid everything. So that's something that I pretty much aspire to do. You
Yeah,
know,
because with Lord of the Rings, um, Tolkien was showing just how basically showing passion in its most visceral form, being true to one another, longing across distances, not just, well, I'm going to just obey my flesh and bang this blonde chick right here who's pushing up on me, who I should clearly see as a little sister.
yeah, because our Aragorn was how old was he? Like 80 years old at that time,
Yeah,
and
he was
he was like
80. He was 80, and for the life of me, I can't remember her. But Irwin,
yeah,
she was about, I want to say about 19.
yeah. And on top of that, I think Arwen may have been way older than Aragorn was, wasn't she?
Yeah, at least
Yeah.
um, at least about centuries old by that point.
Centuries old, and she was looking like a 20-year-old.
Yeah,
By the way, Liv Tyler, she killed the role. Arwen was one of my favorite female characters in Lord of the Rings. But yeah. So And also just mention this. Originally, like when I did my take on Merris, right? She's when I created her, my inspiration obviously was Martin the Warrior, and originally it was supposed to be a guy, but again, this is the power of AI, right? So I started creating ideas, bouncing back and forth, and then all of a sudden, one of the characters came out with white hair. I was like, huh, that looks good. Okay, let's keep adding to this. And I was like, okay, let's make her a female, and bam, that's how Mirrors came about. And after that, I started like making things about her. Then people took to that. And the reason why I bring that up is because you definitely see heroism in both the male side of things and also the female side of things. No one is ever weak. You definitely see the strength of both the genders and how they complement one another. This you'll definitely see both sides being encouraged and edified in the story. And the same thing goes with Corin as well, where you do have those male and female characters who are strong in their characteristics, but also you'll see villains of both genders too, how they approach things.
Because who says villainy should have a Y chromosome?
Right, right, right. I mean, like when you go into the story, the villains are very diverse as well. You do have, and here's the thing. So you have our heroes are truly heroic, whereas they're always trying to do the right thing, right? Um, but then you also have the villains who are always trying to do the wrong thing, right? The things that's going to benefit themselves. But then I didn't want to leave out the gray. I just want to make it clear that there's definitely white and black when it comes to morality. There's definitely good. There's definitely evil, objective morality. But then you also have things you just kind of have to try to figure out. And so, like one of those characters is named the Jackal, and you would think he's evil, but when you go into his story, it's a lot more complex with his particular story. And again, the reason why I want to do that is because there's so much to the actual world. I was like, okay, how do I portray that in a fictional world where you show there's a lot, but you also show the two sides of good and evil there, So, and then those little hard, shadowy decisions you have to make, like, should I actually do that? And so we somehow again we've been able to do it. Did you so like with your character or one of your characters, you have a character that's like more in the middle? Would you consider Koran kind of like trying to? He has a lot more shadowy decisions to figure out, whereas he's trying to do the right thing, but then he ends up doing some wrong stuff. Or how do you go about that?
Well, yeah, basically he's gonna do what he believes is right because it's a lot different than doing the right thing because anyone can tell you what the right thing to you should be. So Koron's doing what he believes is right, both as a king and as a warrior. Like he's not gonna like just kill somebody, out of the blue. He's gonna make sure, do this person need to go? Because then, yeah, I'm gonna just basically fold him.
Right, right, and that's the thing too, though. So every and this goes back to what I was talking about cultures, races, and all that. Everyone has his own view of the world. So like you do have kingdoms, that sort of thing, that are for slavery, for example. They may be racist towards other groups or whatever. And the reason why I want to show that dynamic because obviously what happened if, like, for example, um, dogs and cats, right? How do I? we got those races in here too, where you have like like these cat-like characters, like Lily, for example. You also have like a dog-like character, and so I said, okay, what else do we know about the? Well, we always assume that there's like some sort of rivalry between the two, so I put that into his histocracy of their legend. And you'll see that within the story itself. When Lily meets one of them, she's like, I hate these guys. She doesn't really go into why she hates them, but she just hates them. She calls them cowards. She says they don't know how to fight. They're ugly. She gets into it a lot, and of course, the other characters have to reel her in because it's like, okay, that's not right. We got to work with these people,
Yeah.
So you definitely see the flaws of heroes too, though. Let me see. And I wanted to show something. Okay. And just so you guys, if you guys have not seen it, this would be Caledoria here. I'm going to show you guys also where Trey's story takes place as well. I should have had this up already. But you guys can see like how we got this all set up. I would say this map is slightly outdated, which is fine, because there are a few other things I like to make it more intricate, more detailed in some areas. And so what I would do eventually is probably update that and send it to people over time, probably as like a gift or something along those lines. All right, so I'm loading up the other one here. And so this would be Jamar, and we're still editing it right now. Trey actually sent this to me, and I decided to go ahead and add to it. So I'll show you guys what I drew. This is not going to be the finished product, guys. This is just this is just a little sketch I made to kind of like show where things would be at. And so, as you can see, even like in Jamar, we already have different kingdoms there. We have different races, regions, landmarks, and that sort of stuff. And there are other continents out there where, like for example, the Pasgard Waste is even further south of Jamora, and that place is incredibly deadly, and a lot of people have not made it there alive. But that's a story for another time, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, really quick, just again, just want to thank you guys. Again, we're at $314 out of $1,000. I want to thank you guys for supporting, and this has been really exciting to do. And we're looking forward to doing another Kickstarter after this one's over. And I should mention this too, in case this, let's just say we don't hit the $1,000, right? What we're going to do. I will still put the book up on Amazon and other platforms that way you guys can get it. So even this one was somehow, doesn't make his $1,000 goal. You guys will still be able to purchase the book, and that will be on release, at least the ebook portion in October. And I want to give myself at least to November to get the paperback stuff out, because sometimes that can be kind of finicky based on what I've seen from self-publishing companies. They can get kind of finicky with that. So I'll definitely keep you guys updated on that. But as of right now, we're already at a great start. So I mean, being at one third of the way, I feel pretty confident, I have to say. Now, if we don't make any movement by the mid September, then I'll start worrying. But as of right now, I feel pretty confident about it.
Yeah.
You got any extra thoughts, though, Trey?
Well, nothing comes to mind.
All right, y'all. So listen up. So with this here, I should mention this too. Koran and its beta readership, we're going to start that. At least the signups probably like later on today. I'm going to talk to Trey about that after this. We'll start with the signups for that to see who all is interested in it. Once we get the signups for it, we will release that. I'll talk to Trey about that as well. So, all right. So other than that, we hope to get Koran's story out after Burrow the Blade, so that way you have that to look forward to. Maybe give October 1st will probably start around that time, and just see how things go. But other than that, any final words before we close this up?
Well, Father God, I hope that what we're trying to achieve here will come to fruition, and that we focus on you most of all, and not make this what we're, how can I say, we focus on you and we write to make you happy instead of trying to please man.
Amen. Amen to that. Ultimately that's the main goal. Me and Trey were talking about this behind the scenes, but ultimately, what's, and this is going to be encouragement to other writers as well. If you're not Christian, and this will still apply to you too, though. Like when you write, don't write, and this is my personal beliefs when it comes to writing. Don't write because you want to make money or you try to make a name for yourself, but write for, well, in our case, we're writing for the Lord first and foremost. Secondarily, I'm writing for my mother. Because again, this is a lot of the characters that I have are based on stuff that she created, and she always said she wanted to write but never got around to it. So I said I'll make the story, and so that's again, this is part of how it actually got started. So I've always said even if this didn't make it, I would still continue on and push for it, because again, I'm doing this for God and also my mom. So. And with Trey in this case, when Trey came along and the others came along, I said, okay, I got more people to write for. Not just my mom, but I also got Trey, I got Darian, I got Emma, You got Hina and all these other people who joined in on the project. You got Ashley and Brie, all these other people who helped with the beta testing. I want to make something that honors the Lord and also something we can all have fun with as well. So, yeah, good word, Trey. And we'll go ahead and close this out. This is only supposed to be like an hour anyway. I'm about to I'm about to go get something to eat, maybe something to drink, and and Trey, stay on with me. Other than that, guys, I'll see you guys a little bit later. Hold on, real quick. I think I just saw somebody that came on through. Okay, that's Marion. What's going on, Marion? What she said? She said she's proud of you right there.
Yeah, so
All right, y'all. We're gonna end this stream, and yeah, if you guys haven't already, put this up one more time as well so that we guys can see it. Just if you got a QR code reader, just go ahead and put your phone up to it. And again, share this with other people who are interested in epic fantasy, who's been interested in Redwall, interested in sword and sorcery and that sort of thing. All that, everything that we like is going to be in this whole series here. So you guys will definitely love it. I enjoyed it. The Beta readers loved it. So hope to share this with everyone else. Everyone else have a good rest of the day.